Give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Will. How was Pace Morby, everybody? Dude is the GOAT. The GOAT. And there is nothing better than being neighbors with him up in Kalispell, Montana. All right. I got my good friend Paul here. How many of my OwnerRez people do I have out there? Come on. You got to be a little bit more excited than that. It's the most robust software in our industry. So I'm out here with Paul because I'm an OwnerRez user. I have used 3 different PMSs prior to the solution that I have today. I think I've been with you guys maybe for around 3 or 4 years now. And every single thing that I've done to build my businesses is always surrounded around software. Whether it's increasing, my business through Market My STR or being customer. If anybody's familiar with HubSpot, I was customer 33 at HubSpot in 2007, and I was their first partner agency. And I like to latch on to the best-in-class enterprise software because I need QuickBooks integration. I need integration directly into Facebook if I want to track ROI. For me, the number one thing that I love about OwnerRez, aside from the people, is that they have the highest converting booking widget for direct bookings. The highest converting booking widget for direct bookings out of all of them, all the PMSs that we've tested, right? So one of the things that you've heard from Tina, you've heard from Jeff Usner, you've probably seen Mark from Boostly, and that I talk about, there's one thing to drive traffic to your sales page, your website, but it's a whole nother thing from a conversion standpoint. You guys allow me to convert at between 13 to 16% higher because of how amazing their booking widget is. I can just copy one easy snippet of code and drop it onto a sales page, a Market My STR page, a WordPress website. And that's kind of what's important is we need to make money. But you have way more enterprise solutions and a lot of separation from some of the other platforms. So I'm going to shut up, Paul. This is my friend Paul from OwnerRez. Paul, what is some of that separation that you guys have?
Yeah, thanks, Bill, and thanks for supporting us the last couple of years. We really appreciate that. It's fascinating to hear about that, the Book Now widget. I don't think that's changed in, 5 years probably, 6 years, other than little tweaks, adding language packs and things like that. But it's fascinating because people latch on to a specific feature that's really powerful for them, that's very versatile for them, and then come back to us and tell us things like that. I had no idea about those conversion rates versus some of the competitor solutions out there. So it's interesting to hear. Quick on that reminds me of Sam Altman from OpenAI talking recently about he loves when founders or technology companies or committees work on simple problems, simple, boring problems for long periods of time, and no one really knows, but those simple little things make such an impact, and that's what comes to mind with that Book Now widget. That hasn't changed in a long time. It's been used in a lot of places and expanded upon, but it's still chugging away. So I appreciate that. And I think that looking at our feature set, both what we've had and where we're expanding our key focus areas in 2024, there's a lot of that. We have 8 verticals, and across all of them, I think about our trigger messaging and where we're going with that, kind of consolidating and cleaning up our triggers. Some of you have come by and talked a lot about how much those triggers have done for you, and we start talking about, what else you can do with triggers and where we're going with it. And there tends to be that's fine, that's okay, that's great, but I'm going to still do this because it's working for me.
For those that don't know, what is a trigger?
Yeah, great question. So the triggers is an event happens, and so there's an action, right? So a booking comes in, I want to shoot them a renter agreement or a message welcoming them to your own brand, to your own website. Thanks for booking on Airbnb. Now you can see who we are in our face and come this way, and we have other house rules or things that we need to do. So typically it's a messaging trigger. You can have webhook triggers. We're expanding into, inquiry auto responders.
I'm going to interrupt you one more time. What's a webhook?
Webhook. So that's something happens in the system, and our system reaches out to a different system. Right, so they're APIs. A booking is created or inquiry comes in. and I want to send a piece of information to my other CRM system.
That is super important, folks. Look, one of the reasons that I do 41% direct bookings and I turn my properties over because I do the 550, 250 plan, I haven't owned any property for longer than 6 years, so I'm a little bit different in regards to that. But as being a marketer, I'm looking for conversion and I want to own my customer. So Jose Cornejo, if anybody has met him, he's one of my inner circle coaches and a member of my mastermind. He found a snippet of code, him and Eric Corson in my mastermind, to where now you have an automated trigger to go from OwnerRez when a guest checks out based on that date, to where if you're using Market My STR, that funnel starts automated. That's a huge deal when you're talking about triggers, because if you have to manually go into your PMS and move data over, or you have to get the data but you don't have checkout date, you can't start that funnel. You can't send that text. You can't send that email from an automatic standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot more coming on that too. On the accounting end, another one we like to focus on is deposits and fees. We're striving to get to what's called quote to cash. Anyone know what quote to cash is? Probably not, because no one does it in STRs. Quote to cash is the amount of money coming in from fill in the blank. Cash on arrival, Airbnb, could be credit card, it could be whatever, to how do I get that in QuickBooks to the penny, all automated start to finish, with fees, with deposits being structured against different bookings, different payments or refunds that came out of them, knowing which one was a part of which one, doing it in a clean way. So there's solutions, there's bits and pieces that do it, but we're working on a key focus area to get to that point as well.
How many people, and I want you to be dead honest, I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand, how many of you struggle with bookkeeping for your STRs? Honest, or get them up, come on. Yeah, raise that hand up, camo lady, raise high, be proud of it, because that means you can improve. We all struggle with it. What did I say yesterday? Where's some of my mastermind members that hate when I need to have your P&Ls by the 10th of every month? That QuickBooks direct API integration is a game changer when you look at that is what we are all deficient in. That's going to make we don't even have to do anything at that point, right?
Absolutely.
It's automated. That's the stuff I love about what they're doing in their dev cycles.
Yeah, and doing those things really fast, really well, concentrating on the little details. So this is some of you out there, I can't see you, but I can kind of see the look on your face of, this is something you were working on last year. There's a little bit added, where's more? And that's something I wanted to touch on too, because routinely we have people come back to us asking about triggers, asking about QuickBooks, asking about all these little things that we've done, the book now, and they've gone away, they've come back, they've tried something else, they've played with other features, and we hear the phrase, it just works, right? I did something else, I came back because it just worked. It was faster, right? And that's a big thing about OwnerRez. That's something I like to talk about a lot. It kind of covers all of these specific features and configurations. Is we work really hard to give you that feel, the feel of it just works. It's fast, it's responsive. You get the feel of how the software is built by how you interact with it. So QuickBooks triggers, as we expand, we're trying to keep that ethos across all of those things.
It's also responsive. How many of you literally manage like 90% of your time from this thing? This is an iPhone, not an Android. I don't know if I could do it on an Android. But when you look at the booking calendar, when I need to block something off, when I need to follow up with a quote, when I need to reset rates, when I need to do anything, I can do 100% here. I can do it right now. I can block off dates. I can make a booking, whatever it is. That is something that's a huge value to me, because a lot of the other PMSs that I've tried to work with are not 100% responsive, and then stuff flows off the side of the screen, and I'm on an airplane, and I'm like trying to move stuff around, and it doesn't work. That's what I love about being the Apple of our industry. It just works.
I probably shouldn't admit this, but I have an Android in my pocket as he's saying that.
We're fucking done. Where's
my wife, my kids, everyone else I know has an iPhone. But yeah.
That's because all you developer nerds use Androids, right?
That's it. There's some Google stuff that I can't step away from. So that's it. The Book Now site, the direct hosted site, we do strive for those details because that's where you see the difference. Being able to be on the airplane and just have it work. So it's another reason why we've been asked a lot at the conference. I think some of you come up to, where's my native app? Where's my native app? We've worked really hard to make the main app scale well into a mobile tablet experience, not just your website, but the entire app itself. And all the settings and all the menus and everything just work. We feel like that's been a better investment in terms of focus than kind of having a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but not being able to get to all your details in the airport, like Bill's saying.
That ability to be mobile is something that is crucial, for me. But what about some of the other kind of ERP systems? What do you see that your current client base is leveraging most that they may not be aware of?
Yeah, the channel management feature. So I know a lot of people here we do channel management. Yeah, I'm hooked up to Airbnb and Vrbo, and I've got my central PMS or channel management where it's all flowing. One thing we've tried to do is build, we call it our first-class channel network, but it's an ecosystem of smaller channels that are out there. And I know there's some eye rolling about that because it's, if I get one booking every 2 years from this smaller channel, either ones that are up and coming, Whimstay and those, but the more you diversify and the more you make that easy in terms of us making it easy for you, the more you just get that stuff for free, right? Google VR, we have a lot of people in the Google beta right now. It's been difficult going. It's going to be self-service here in about a month for everyone, but you click that button, thank you. We click that button and everything that's currently on your personal website, on Airbnb, on Vrbo, just flows right out to Google. And when people are searching for Google Flights, Google Hotels, you're right there with them. They come from Google to your website. There's no Google checkout, there's no Google booking or landing page, there's no fee, at least not currently. They come right to your website. So really expanding our first-class channel network and having
Slow
those
your
channels
roll
built
there
to
for
us.
a second, Paul. Slow that roll, buddy. I want you to summarize what you just said. So you're telling me in about a month?
Self-service by end of March, I would say.
One click, and I have Google ready to go, taking the pictures, the images, the content, my calendars from Airbnb and Vrbo.
Yep.
Did everybody hear that? What's the biggest threat to our industry right now? Number one is lack of consistency. We're not JW Marriott, we're not consistent, right? The second thing, in my opinion, is that we are all emblazoned to Airbnb. Google is the biggest threat to both Airbnb and Vrbo. What you just described gets us in early, right? And he's made it easy, one step, one click. And I'm just gonna sit here and tell every one of you, you need to take advantage of that as early as you can. Don't sit on it for a month, don't sit on it for 5 months, don't wait till next year's conference because you will fall behind. There's too many people like me that are gonna do it the first day that that's available. I'm gonna click that button and I'm gonna get it deployed.
Yep, completely agree. It's there, it's free. There's absolutely no reason to use it. Google is quickly becoming the fourth, but might be the third highest growing channel from what we can see. Booking.com is the third. From what we're seeing, traffic is flowing in. We have probably 1,000 accounts in it right now in the private beta, but they're getting bookings. So where you may not from some of the smaller ones you're on and you want to support those networks, or they might serve a niche, last minute stays or something like that, we are seeing quite a bit flowing through Google early on.
Not applicable to this, but you guys should be on all of them. Last minute stays, Alabama vacation rental, Smokies vacation rental, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, you should be on all of it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's the first-class channel network concept that we were talking about. Have them build to us, the smaller, those regional ones, us build to them where they're a little bit bigger, but create a one-click experience where that exact same attention to detail, speed, being comprehensive, making sure that your gap nights, your rules are all accurately going across all of them, can just continue happening. Your getaway go-go's, your go lightly's, it just flows. So.
How many in the room right now are co-hosting and or a property manager? Raise your hand. Co-hosting and or a property manager. Not a whole lot, but if you are and you're not an OwnerRez customer, do you just want to briefly touch on the invoicing and back-end management that you have built into the system? Yeah,
so one of the 8, we talk about our 8 verticals. One of the verticals is accounting. And so early on, we spent a lot of time trying to build a model that's very specific to accounting details. If you think in a QuickBooks type mindset, you have your invoice, you have your received payments, and then payments eventually turn into deposits, bank deposits. And that's where you're reconciling transactions from. So we had kind of the same mindset years ago without the QuickBooks piece, but the same model within our system. Every booking is seen as an invoice with line items and charges. Those charges are fed with rent, surcharges, discounts, taxes, and so on. And then you have the ability to record payments and refunds and security deposits and a lot more detailed information, fees, adjustments, which then flow throughout the rest of the system. So those might turn into expenses for an owner, those of you who are PMs, and then your PM system calculating commission and so on, flowing into statements per month. It might be if you're a smaller homeowner operator, flowing into your own reports for yourself. So we don't say that we can replace a traditional accounting system like a QuickBooks or Xero, but we have strived to create a model that kind of resembles them so that you can get in and do your analytics and do your accounting within the system.
What are the other components of those 8 pillars that you guys have?
Yeah, so messaging is a vertical, and I think a lot of you know about that. One of the big key focuses for 2024 for us is normalizing and cleaning up our messaging to a better inbox design. Taking triggers and unifying, I talked about triggers a minute ago, but unifying some of the things like autoresponders and how we answer inquiries into that trigger model. So messaging, I won't go too far there, SMS with messaging. If you're not using SMS, by the way, you're crazy. You got to turn on SMS. Being able to reach through the email noise, the Airbnb noise, and say on the morning of arrival, hey, sent you that welcome packet, or good morning with a coffee emoji, sent you a packet, just let us know if you didn't get it. There is no response rate as high as the SMS. The responses that come back, the conversation it creates with the guest is through the roof. So you got to have the SMS. But the unified messaging and all of that is a vertical. We talked about accounting. We talked about channel management. The website side, we have a hosted website. We have our widget system, which, again, as Bill mentioned, very effective over the years. We also have a network of WordPress and designers. There's some great designer partners, Boostly and others that are here at the conference, and we're partners with them for a kind of a unique custom design experience. And then there's some other verticals around PM and reporting and that kind of thing. So those are the areas we try to really focus on. We try and bring that really powerful feel to. And then for everything else, we like to partner with others that you see out here, Price Labs and those types of guys for revenue management and cleaning and whatnot.
Probably the toughest question. What's the 12 to 16 month dev cycle roadmap? What can they expect? What's coming from OwnerRez outside of the Google integration?
Yeah, so Google's right around the corner. Our roadmap has, last I checked, and I know Sean's out there right now, our product owner, I think north of 300 items on it, 300 that have been tasked. The tasking will change and it'll move around. So what we've done is we've developed internally a key focus area of the roadmap, basically a higher level roadmap. And so a lot of the next 2 quarters are heavily into messaging and cleaning up messaging. I think that's probably going to really trickle out in through the rest of the year and into 2025 as well. There's just a lot there. Booking.com, those of you who have wrestled with Booking.com, we're doing a lot more with them as well to try and make that experience better for our larger PMs. The PM system I mentioned before, we have a big upgrade coming. We have worked on it for 2.5 years. We trashed it, restarted it, trashed it, restarted it. We are about ready to start inviting users into that. So if you're in our PM system and you're wondering why commission doesn't show as an expense, just a magical number that appears on a report, but it's not actually in the expense or where the P&L sheet is for the end of the year, that's coming. We're a couple of months from having beta users in that. So we have that. There's a lot of internal things that we're working on in terms of support. I've heard a lot about how you guys have enjoyed our new Jumpstart onboarding program. Those of you who are newer, those of you who are older, you've probably mentioned, where's your, who do I call, right? Where are you on the phone? So we're working on some internal things there as well, which is not a surface level feature, but I think it's something that, we've been continuing to evolve on. So PM, there's more accounting, there's a lot in the QuickBooks pipeline. Like I said, getting to quote to cash and also bringing that over to the PM side and making sure that the PM, money held and liability, all of that is flowing as well. Those are some of the major focus areas.
Why OwnerRez?
I mentioned before that we focus on the feel. This is something I'm asked a lot, and I used to, probably 2 years ago or more at this point, 2.5 years, I would get into the bickering over features. Well, we have this and they have that. Everybody says that they have everything. Everybody says that they're working on everything. The difference with OwnerRez is in the principles that we build everything by. We have a list of principles internally, and I'm not going to go through them all. We recently completed a 10-year anniversary. Our whole company went on a trip to Dominican Republic, and there's a blog post online that talks about it, and you can see kind of the principles there. But some of those top principles, creating happiness, speed is a feature, one-touch solves on support, people first. We model ourselves after the people first culture. Some of you may have heard of that or been aware of the book by Michael Falcone. Those are the things that really kind of underpin everything we do. We measure. We say speed is a feature. We try and be the Google, not the Yahoo. We one-touch solve. We might not get to your ticket for a day or two, but when we do, we want it to be the last time we see you. So it needs to have paragraphs. It needs to have screenshots. It needs to talk about your problem and the problem you're not talking about. So people first. We want our team to thrive for a long time. So that's what separates OwnerRez from everyone else.
That's awesome. Tell me about the onboarding process, the new quick, what do you call it? Quick what?
So it used to be, and a lot of you who've been here for a while will probably roll your eyes or say we're a year or two late, and we are a year or two late. But we've kind of completely restarted. Jen from our onboarding, or Jen, our onboarding team lead, is out there, so hopefully she's smiling. It used to be you came to us and you sent emails, you looked at our support center, our videos, you paid for a ProConnect service, and that was it. You're on one side or the other. So OwnerRez is complicated, or I can power through and figure it out. So about a year ago, or probably 8 months, 9 months at this point, we created a new program. It's a jumpstart team, an onboarding team, and it's all one-on-one. You come in the door, it's an hour to an hour and a half of one-on-one screen sharing. We work with you on your account to get set up. It's at your speed. So if you've already done in the first week or two a whole bunch, and we'll take it from that point forward. If you've done nothing, then we'll take you through the setup checklist and bring you as far as we can. So yeah, we're super excited about our Jumpstart team and how we can help bring you into the system a lot deeper.
How does support work with OwnerRez?
Support with OwnerRez is a constant evolution. And I say that because we're not really committed to the way we used to do the support, or even the way we're going to do support in the future. It's a whole team effort to keep evolving and keep measuring ourselves and see how quickly we're getting answers out, how quickly we're reaching out and touching people. We have considered phone bank support. We went away from that because we don't want you calling us and then being frustrated when you get someone right away, but they're not helpful. So we're committed to that one-touch solve principle. And it's hard to have a one-touch solve principle if the first person you're talking to can't actually solve your problems. So a lot of it is still email because that's just the central flow of how things come in. However, Steve, also with our engagement team, is here. We have a team of engagement specialists who schedule calls. They do 150 calls a week, something like that at this point. So we're here and we're ready to talk by phone. It might be a day or two until we can get you on the line, but it's a constant evolution.
Last question. If I'm not an OwnerRez user, this is the hard one. Why should I come back and see you guys in the booth as soon as we get off stage? So that we can sit down with you and just let you feel it, let you see it. It can take 5 minutes, or it could take a half hour, however long you want to play with it. But I talk a lot about speed as a feature and the feel of software, being the Google, not the Yahoo. We can do that in 15 seconds or 5 minutes, or we can do that in 20 minutes, however long you want. But play with that software, feel it, see the responsiveness, like Bill said, and decide for yourself. Awesome stuff. Give it up for my man, Paul Waldschmidt from OwnerRez. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.